Intrepid viewers, I'm wearing this hat in solidarity for everyone in the Northern Hemisphere who is going through such a cold, cold, cold winter. So even though I'm here in a t-shirt and summer's finally arrived in Australia, just know I'm thinking of you. So you think we could take a break from politics at this time of year, but you'd be wrong. It's all happening. Oh, a butterfly just flew into the room. I think it's actually a cabbage moth, but it looks like a butterfly. How amazing. Thank you, butterfly. Now, I wanted to check in and see how Jack Smith is getting on. Let's hope he's the man for the job. But in other developments, it's now being whispered that the Yeti may form a third party. So remember how Ross Perot, or whatever his name was, split the Democrat vote? Was it back in the 90s during the Clinton time or something? Oh, he wanted to get rid of Bush or something. So we'll have a look at that. So, and George Santos. George Santos. He ran in New York, I'm not sure which New York district, as the gay Jewish Republican candidate and won, only to find, well, people who have checked can't find any Jewish history. He lied about his whole bio from beginning to end and his qualifications. And there are people protesting outside the house he said he lives in Long Island, but doesn't. Let's start with him. So he was a relative nobody who was apparently evicted twice for not paying his rent, and then all of a sudden had money and ran for this. So let's see. I mean, surely there's an ethics committee involved here. Surely when it's as cut and dried as this, lying blatantly on your resume in ways that are provable, let's have a look at George Santos. Will he be allowed to serve? Nothing would surprise me anymore. Let's have a look. Oh, my cards are upside down. I don't think it's him. Yeah, well, someone's backed him big time. Well, look, King of Pentacles, someone with big money, serious money, wanted him in there. Biden turns up. I think George Santos is the least of Biden's preoccupations at the moment, for sure. But symbolically, surely he just rings somebody and say, look, are you following this up? Because I'm really busy, right? Hopefully he's doing that. But then the same George Santos, the lying George Santos, allegedly, he gets the magician card. Don't like that. Being able to get yourself out of a tight spot. It's right over the money. And I get my Republican card, the pretending to be happy families Republican card. So, look, I can, return to meeting. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I think he's probably going to be allowed to serve and deceive, which should be the new oath. I vow to lie to my people. What? Love to be wrong. So love to be wrong, right? But speaking of the hypocrisy, as we speak, the Christian Taliban throughout the nation will be rushing off to church to celebrate the birth of Jesus, who frankly they wouldn't let in at the border. Modern world, they would not. Anyway, So the poor people at the border, because it's cold, cold, cold everywhere, have to pay tribute to Zelensky, Comrade Zelensky. What a speech. And it was a moment. I'm sure every Republican didn't stand and give him a standing ovation, but a lot did. And that was symbolic. It was symbolic for America as much as Ukraine and the world. It was a really good speech and it was received really well. Okay, so moving on now. Okay, so speaking of people who don't pay their bills, Elon Musk has not been paying his bills. What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? And I'm loving it. His two worlds are colliding because the board at Tesla are really annoyed. He's preoccupied with Twitter and sold stocks to get it, and that's dropping. And Twitter users are furious at him. So he's falling in a sort of hole that he dug with his own ego. He dug it with his own teeth, you know. Anyway, we're not reading on him today. The next big question is Jack Smith. How's Jack Smith going? Jack Smith. Intriguing. Jack Smith. Jack Smith. Now, he's keeping things close to his chest. Nine of Cups. What's that about? All right. 4 of these cards make sense to me and 1 doesn't. So we have, kicking off here, the High Priestess, deep and mysterious. So that's fine. We don't have to know everything as long as it's moving forward, which it appears to be with this Ace of Wands here. The Page of Wands, this is how it's expressed. This is the message about this. This isn't how Jack Smith expresses what he's working on. This is how the voting public receives it. Hopefully this represents Democrats who are good speakers, who can digest the process and explain it to people. The Nine of Cups, which I'm a bit mystified by, can be the smug merchant, but that's not him. It could be targeting the smug merchant. That would make sense. But I'll draw a couple of cards on this. Or it could be Nine of Cups is emotional satisfaction. He's satisfied with where it's going and where it's at and all of that. And I think he's waiting to pounce here. He has a reputation for working very quickly, which is music to our ears, is it not, Possums? But at the same time, legal land is chronically slow, way too slow, you could argue, for the modern world. And so that raises the question, regardless of what happens here with Jack Smith, I'm feeling confident with these cards. He will do what he set out to do. But will Trump be allowed to just keep on going? And it seems like he is, until something major happens. Will he be barred from office? I haven't seen that, I have to say, in all these readings. Oh, they're so reluctant. I understand to do this because it could create unstable presidencies in the future, etc., etc. Yeah, we get it, but how bad do you have to be? So word is around that because these polls, the hypothetical polls against DeSantis, You just get rid of one and then you get another, don't you, really? Have DeSantis leading him hugely. They keep doing the polls over and over and keep coming up with the same 20-point advantage. So let's have a look. Is the Getty going to try and start a third party? Will he? And of course, it'd be called the Trump Party, wouldn't it? He names everything after himself, and it's such a silly name. They could be the Yeti Party. Okay, let's have a look. Third Party USA. Walking away. Oh, the death. Oh, the hangman. Oh, the hem. Oh, my God. Wow, wow. Wowie, zowie. Okay. Walking away, I would say, from the traditional parties, because he'd never just walk away, you know, walking away. Death. The death card. End of one whole cycle, moving on. Walking away, new cycle. Duh. We're not going to hear about it just yet, right? But this is also the card of sacrifice. And that's important because it could effectively split the GOP vote very effectively. In fact, I almost hope he does it, you know. And then the hermit, he is isolated. All of this is going on. Apparently, I don't know if this is true, but according to some sources, he's given people instructions. They have to ring him every day. That's so he gets phone calls. Any normal person, or even not normal, left to their own devices, has stopped ringing the man. So they're under instructions to ring him. So it's not yet, but I think it's under consideration. But these three are all major arcana. So this is a big deal. Big deal. Now, as we all predicted, the GOP is starting to turn on itself. And I don't know if you've caught up that the far, far right are now disenchanted with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that's because she supports Kevin McCarthy for the speakership. Now, why would she do that? They obviously have a pact they made in Hades, right? So there's a reason for that. But to the ultra-right MAGA-philes, God knows who they want, but someone to the right of McCarthy. I don't know where you have to look to find that. But anyway, so they've turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ha! We shouldn't get joy from other people's misery, but there we go. Now, the spending bill has gone through. It's another lunatic aspect of American politics that every 5 minutes, it seems, the government of the day is threatened with closing down. Why isn't this built into the presidency and the vote? 4 years of funding. I don't understand. I've yet to meet someone from the rest of the world who understands. At the same time, please do not think I'm America bashing here. Long-term viewers will know how much I love you guys. And also, Australia is a very flawed country, particularly when it comes to immigration. Right? We invented offshore processing. Disgusting, inhumane. Sending people to obscure islands where journalists can't go, doctors and nurses have to sign non-disclosure agreements. It's just appalling. So don't feel you're alone. Now, oh, yes. Sean Hannity's testimony at the Dominion case, right? We all know Dominion is suing Fox for $1.6 billion. The demon spawn, Lachlan Murdoch, testified during the week. But Hannity came out and said he didn't believe the election was stolen for 1 second. He actually just said it like that. So this is a huge win for Dominion, saying he was being libelled by, Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson, that's Tucker with an F, and Hannity. So this is major. So where's this case going to go? The Dominion case. Where's it going to go? Oh, Murdoch's not happy. Murdoch is so not happy. This doesn't happen to Rupert Murdoch. He has spent his entire adult life destroying democracies through his absolutely shitful papers and media empire. He's a disgusting creature. Tell us what you really think, Lena, about Murdoch. Okay. 9 of Swords. This is even penetrating his egotistical, arrogant skull. And also this could be the head of Fox, whoever that is now, as opposed to Rupert, who's the top of the whole shebang. They know it's going badly. There's one thing after the other, after the other. Well, they can't deny it. It's there. They would have thousands of hours of people lying on camera. They also get the death card. And I shuffled away. Not good for Fox. Not good at all. And Dominion is waiting for the call. So let me just pull some other cards. Will it be settled out of court? Will it be settled out of court? Will it be settled out of court? I'd say so. Yes. The wedding card making a pact or an agreement of some sort. And the Knight of Wands moving forward with that. So I'm going to say, I think they'll try and settle, at least try and settle, because they're not going to win this case. They're not going to win it. So, we'll see. Will Dominion, let's go further. Will Dominion accept the out of court? Will Dominion voting machines accept it? Well, they've got their swords raised. They have to, I think they're going to go on fighting. Swords raised. They want the story to be out there. 2 of Pentacles, they're weighing it up. Pentacles money, they're going to weigh up what they're being offered. Then I think they're going to decide, you know what? No. But then I get the 8 of Cups, the walking away card again. So I think they might walk away from a deal, because what they want is an apology, but a real one, like on the screen night and day, sorry we lied to you, and they're not going to get that. So I think they're going to hold out on that. We'll see how that unfolds. So now back to, did you hear during the week people who were eating baby spinach in their salads started hallucinating, and there's been a major recall of spinach in Australia. Luckily, we grow our own in this house, because it's been exposed to, they think, Datura, which is a very nasty hallucinogen. But it has meant it's raised the profile of bad agricultural practices that are going on in Australia, like everywhere else, really bad things that everything's sprayed with and so forth. Like my father and my brother and my brother-in-law, they all came from farms and they've all had weird illnesses all their lives, from the cattle dips and the sheep dips and the fruit spraying, and because they'd go out in their shorts, bare chest, shorts, bare feet. Yeah. Anyway, had to share that little bit. Now, yeah, I just want to say a bit more about the spending bill before I get on to the next thing, which is so much money goes to the military, not to veterans, to the military. And with Ukraine at the moment, you know, who can say no? But I'd like to think that there's something. I know the states are in control of water in Flint and water in Jackson, but surely some federal agency or something has the ability to hold states accountable in some way. Surely there should be a class action or something. Americans should be able to say we are entitled to drinkable water in this country and just go for it, you know. Anyway, now I got a very interesting and informative comment. Thank you for this, viewer, because we've all been sitting here going, oh, look, the Senate can just put more justices in, but of course they can't. They can fill vacancies that arise, but they can't change the numbers thing because of the filibuster. It's crippling American democracy, the stupid filibuster. There's so many systemic problems, you know. Look, I won't say anymore. But I will ask, will they eventually get rid of the filibuster? The filibuster's crazy. Oops. Because things really can't move forward while you've got the filibuster. It's just these things that were probably really radical and clever and about supporting the underdog 250 years ago, they really need revisiting. Okay. The filibuster, page of the speaker. How ironic. Oh, Biden. Oh, okay. Now, Page of Wands, the gifted speaker, used to be my Obama card back in the day. Right. Is going to make a case. Queen of Pentacles, usually my Pelosi card, but we must be coming to the end of that particular reign. But some strong woman is going to spearhead a movement, I think. These are both women. Spearheading a movement. Biden's here and coming to an agreement. It might be possible as the GOP splinters and starts to disintegrate, there might be, let me call them the McCain-like Republicans, the people like the Joe Scarboroughs and the Lincoln Foundation and the Glenn Kirshner's and people who might, this would be a second term, it's certainly not going to be in the next 2 years, could get there. That would change, that would be a game changer. That would be absolutely amazing. All right. Now, in other news, the demented, aggressive, macho Neanderthal, Jim Jordan, is apparently lined up to be head of the Judiciary Committee. Now, I don't even know what the Judiciary Committee does. What does it do? But under his helm, it won't be pretty. Anyway, I'm not going to read on it because he's too awful. Now, what we'll finish off on, I think, is more global, because I will do a January forecast very soon. But let's have a look globally, the energy around the first 3 months of next year. The first 3 months of 2023 globally. First 3 months. Lord Biden's busy today. Thanks for turning up, Joe. But in this case, could be other leaders as well. Let me have a think about this. Where's action? Okay. So in the center, the King of Swords. So I think this represents, oh, sorry, you can't see me properly. The intellect, swords are the intellect and communication. They are also justice. So I think there's room here to hope that there will be international court cases. This could be something like Putin being charged with war crimes, Xi Jinping getting seriously challenged, things like the big things, Iran, justice for women. Because here are the women, right? Here are the women defending their rights or fighting for them in the first place if they haven't got them. Right, very powerful feminine cards. On top, Biden, I think, if nothing else, sets the tone. He's a compassionate and reasonable man. So it's a much softer form of leadership than, because this card could also be the authoritarians, but this is sitting over the legal stuff. So I think Biden is going to be hugely important symbolically. As a mere mortal, he can only do so much, but symbolically important. Outcome, King of Pentacles. So for me, that's still, it's still going to be a capitalist world. It's still going to revolve around money, but there's more responsibility for the wealthy to not keep just using and abusing the people who create their wealth for them. In other words, working people. So because of these swords and justice cards, this was alongside this, people will still make phenomenal amounts of money, but some, I think with the intellect, people will begin to realize what matters is the wealth disparity. Nothing wrong with individuals being phenomenally wealthy, but it's when people are hungry and cold and people are working and are still poor with full-time jobs and 2 and 3 jobs, there's something fundamentally wrong with the system, right? So I think this is going to be challenged. It's still going to be there, but it's going to be challenged. Well, there you have it, my beloved and intrepid viewers. So I'll see you before New Year. I'm not going anywhere, okay? And my local council has put signs up everywhere, and the signs say, "Merry everything." So I'm passing on that message. Whatever your faith, belief, or whatever you decide to do, please stay safe, stay warm, and enjoy it. Bye for now. Big love. Ciao, ciao.